Welcome back to 360 Sports Network's Road to the Final Four podcast series, where we break down each and every game on the way to the big dance, each and every conference tournament to see who will get the automatic bids and who will be left out in the dust and bubbles being burst. You can follow us on Twitter at 3S Network for all of your updates, and 360sportsnetwork.com, where we help you fill out your brackets so they can be the best that they can be. I'm James Dotson. Tonight we want to look at the SEC tournament, and we're going to talk about Kentucky in depth. We all know about them, so let's start with a couple of the other teams that I think are going to be real contenders when it comes not only to the SEC tournament, but possibly as well for the NCAA tournament as a whole. To me, Florida, Kentucky, Vanderbilt, not only are they locks, they are solid locks into the tournament. Alabama, they also probably should be in with their 21-10 overall record. I think that they need one more win just to shore that up to be absolutely certain. Beyond that, though, it's anybody's guess. Can Tennessee make the tournament? Can Mississippi State make the tournament? Both of their teams, honestly, I don't think Tennessee, unless they go really deep into the tournament, can make it. They will end up with 14 losses unless they get the automatic bid. And that's just not going to be good enough for the Volunteers, in my mind, at this point. As for Mississippi State, they have a decent record, 21-11, but that 8-8 conference record does not look good in the SEC. A 62 RPI and a 76 strength of schedule, I also think they'll be on the outside looking in unless they can make a big run in the SEC tournament. Which, again, for both of these teams, I really don't see either of those happening. Now, the door has opened, especially for Tennessee, to be able to make a run and possibly make it into the tournament. I just don't see either team having any chance of doing exactly that. Tennessee, with the number 2 seed, does have a little bit of an advantage in the conference tournament. Tiebreakers helped them, but honestly, I think Mississippi's a better team than they are, and I think Ole Miss can beat Tennessee in the first round, and that'll really spell danger for them. Alright, so let's look at the 3 teams that are really going to make waves. First, you got to look at Florida, and my question with Florida is, what team will show up? A team that had won about 8 in a row a couple times this year. Big wins early against Texas A&M. Big win against Mississippi State early in the year. Tough matchup against Ohio State early in the year and at Syracuse too. Or is it the team who really struggled and played terribly down the stretch, losing by double digits at Georgia, at Vanderbilt, and then by 15 at home to Kentucky? So which Florida team shows up may make a big difference. I'm starting to like the Vanderbilt Commodores more and more every time I watch them play. And when you have 2 outside shooters shooting over 45% from three-point land, I think that really helps. John Jenkins and Jeffrey Taylor both shoot 45% or better from beyond the arc. They average 20 points and 17 points per game, respectively. So you can't overlook them, but again, for a team that shoots the 3 ball so well and so often, what happens when you start missing some of those threes in a big game? That's where you go downhill in a hurry. And that's why Kentucky is the team to beat, not only because they haven't lost since a buzzer beater at Indiana in early December, but because they can do it all. They can win however they need to win. They have good outside shooters. Teron Lamb is 48% from beyond the arc. You also have Terrence Jones, 35%, and Darius Miller, 38%. But beyond that, though, you have the big men inside. You have Anthony Davis averaging a double-double per game, 14 points and just shy of 10 rebounds per game. A more impressive stat, 4.7 blocks per game for Anthony Davis. I like this kid a lot. I like watching him play. I only hope that for the sake of the Wildcats and for the NCAA as a whole, that he decides to stay in the NCAA for a couple years. But forgetting him and the NBA, I see Kentucky and Vanderbilt making it to the championship game of the SEC tournament, and I see Anthony Davis down low just being too much, and an inside-out game with Lamb and Kid Gilchrist will lead them to a very smooth sailing trip and lead them straight into the number 1 overall seed when it comes to the NCAA tournament, and obviously a front runner to make it to the Final Four and beyond. But the one thing to look at when you do have such a young team, I've seen it with Calipari's teams before, that when he has such young players out there, sometimes crunch time can become a little difficult. All it takes is one bad game in the tournament, and all is lost. So hopefully for their sake, they can put together a nice string of games like they've been doing all year, and we can see Kentucky making it to the Final Four. And if that happens, we're going to be in for some great showtime, to say the very least. Well, that's it for breaking down the SEC. You can again follow our website, 360sportsnetwork.com, for all the latest info, and at 3S Network on Twitter to be able to hear all of our latest updates for the tournament and to get your bracket in tip-top shape when the brackets come out on Sunday night. That's it. Have a good night, everybody.